Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're here today to debate the rule providing for consideration of H.R. 2931, the Save SBA from Sanctuary Cities Act, H.R. 2966, the American Entrepreneurs First Act, H.R. 2987, the CEASE Act, which will be considered under a closed rule, and H.R. 2483, the Support for Patients and Communities Reauthorization Act, to be considered under a structured rule. 1 hour of debate each for H.R. 2931, H.R. 2966, and H.R. 2987 shall be equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking member of the Small Business Committee or their designees. 1 hour of debate will also be provided for H.R. 2483 and shall be equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee or their designees. The rule provides a motion to recommit for all 4 bills. Mr. Speaker, we're here to deliver on the Trump administration's agenda and solidify his executive actions with common sense legislation. With Congresswoman Van Dyne's American Entrepreneurs First Act, we are going to help codify the work that the Small Business Administration is doing to ensure that businesses receiving federal benefits are 100% owned by U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents, and businesses that employ illegal immigrants are ineligible for these funds. This is part of our ongoing effort to stop subsidizing previous open border policies. It makes sense that only law-abiding American citizens should have access to programs that American taxpayer dollars go towards. We are also relocating SBA offices out of sanctuary cities and into places that do not limit their cooperation with federal agencies that are charged with immigration enforcement. The SBA administrator announced that the agency would be relocating offices in Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Denver, New York City, and Seattle, and moving them to less costly and more accessible locations that better serve the mission and comply with federal immigration law. With Congressman Finstead's bill, the Save SBA from Sanctuary Cities Act, we are supporting this plan with legislation giving the SBA 120 days to deliver on this commitment and relocate those offices. Sanctuary cities need to be held accountable, and they need to see the consequences of their disregard for federal law. And with Mr. Brashin's CEASE Act, we are strengthening SBA's program by limiting the number of nonprofit small business lending companies licensed by the SBA to 16. This will allow the agency to provide the necessary oversight to ensure that they are effectively serving the small business that Congress intended. Finally, we're here to debate the Support for Patients and Communities Reauthorization Act. And thank you to Mr. Guthrie for introducing this important legislation. This bill reauthorizes the 2018 legislation President Trump signed into law and strengthens it. I am glad to say that across the country we are seeing a decline in overdose deaths. But of course, the work is not over. We want to make sure we are investing in overdose prevention and equipping communities to counter substance abuse disorders. The Energy and Commerce Committee has taken a hard look at what worked best from the 2018 law and built off its success by continuing to provide resources for prevention, education, treatment, recovery, workforce, and law enforcement to help patients struggling with substance use disorder. It ensures first responders are able to administer life-saving drugs, ensures HHS cannot require states to use one specific vendor over another, clarifies that Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration state and tribal opioid grants can be used for test strips, and requires that administration to identify and address serious mental illness. This bill is part of President Trump and the congressional Republicans' promise to stop the flow of fentanyl by securing our borders and then combat the crisis caused by these drugs in our communities. President Trump has done his part to secure our border, and we will supply him with more resources to do so in the One Beautiful Big Bill. Through the Support Act, we will combat the existing opioid crisis in our communities. I am proud to stand in support of these bills, and I look forward to this debate, and I hope my colleagues can stay focused on the topic in front of us today as we discuss these proposals that are important to the American families and taxpayers. With that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve.